Hey guys, Grifton here, and today we are going to be discussing the hot topic of Feral Druid DPS and what's driving it. Before we get started, please take the time to like and subscribe to keep me pumping out Druid videos. Also, if you want to watch me stream live, you can find me on twitch.tv/Griftonish and here on YouTube as I stream to both simultaneously. Okay, now let's talk Feral Cat and Rat and why people are saying it's dead. But to give it context, I need to explain a few aspects of the game you may already know, but it's necessary to understand the whole picture. First, let's talk ranking DPS. It's a time-honored tradition of determining the best DPS so you can be the top pumper in your guild or whatever. Now, I dismiss it, but there's nothing wrong with wanting to be one of the biggest DPS in an expansion. It usually guarantees you a raid spot, and as a DPS, that's what a lot of people play for. The damage glory, the big crits, and the chart-topping rotations. Now, because this is classic, a lot of these charts are actually being created before we even get the expansion. It makes sense, the content isn't new, and private servers have been around for a while with the same content, so it's easy to look at those and determine likely outcomes, but there is a problem with this. Private servers aren't official servers, and their scripting, or way of determining how things work in the game, is based on best guesses and some original Wrath logs and videos. But they've never been perfect. It's something private server players accept and something classic players have been reminded of each expansion when a class doesn't pan out how they expect. So finally, in comes Feral Druid. In private servers, Feral Druids played well can absolutely pump, especially in phase 2 and 4. They were great at both single target and AoE, a large leap from the Feral DPS of TBC, which was mostly non-existent due to the strength of Feral Tank and the lack of any AoE for cats. Now this all sounds very promising to those DPS chasers, but even before the Wrath beta was out, there was a quiet hesitation in propping up Feral DPS as a good choice for pumpers. The reason is the scripting we talked about earlier in private servers. See, if you ever played a Feral in private server, the Omen of Clarity proc rate seemed insane. It was proccing off of everything, and one of the main things was Feral Fairy Fire, a cat spell that cost 0 energy. It allowed low energy cats to proc Omen of Clarity so they could keep on pumping. Now even at the time, people knew the scripting was probably off, but who wants to ruin a good party, and so it stayed as is. So this is where Wrath beta comes in. Immediately on beta, it was looking like Omen was proccing a lot less, and in fact it wasn't proccing at all from Fairy Fire. At first everyone said it was a bug, but the majority of us knew it was likely correct, and this is where the Doomers stepped in. Imagine you're prepping for Wrath and you saw the Feral numbers and you created a tune, leveled it, geared it, and are just waiting for that swap to Wrath so you can pump in a class that's never seen that kind of glory, only to find out weeks before that your DPS is going to suffer. So are they right? Are Feral Druids no longer going to be top pumpers? The honest answer is, I don't know. And we won't truly know until Wrath has come and gone. Currently in the beta, Druids are testing out alternatives to the Feral Fairy Fire fishing, and so far the most promising option is bear weaving. I've done a video on that, so I won't go into it here, but check it out if you're interested. Now, here's what I can speculate. Feral AoE is probably going to suffer. The Fairy Fire Omen proc was very handy in keeping swipe going when energy was low, but AoE is still decent, especially on shorter fights. Now as crit chance rises, you should see that scale up with it nicely. Now, single target Feral DPS I think is going to slip a little bit, but not that much. Because of the increase in DPS coming from Bearweave, I could see Feral still topping charts on certain fights. It will likely require some gear choice changes and a very skilled player, as the skill cap for Feral DPS was already pretty high, and the Bearweaving will increase it that much higher if it ends up being the meta. Now, we reach the question, do you still want to play Feral, a hard to play class that's now been given underdog status? Feral Druids have never been given a fair chance. In Vanilla Classic, bears and cats could only perform decently by constantly farming a level 35 weapon and wearing a level 45 helm. In TBC, that helm stayed on for Feral DPS even at endgame level 70. Now in Wrath, not only is the rotation more challenging than ever, you've been robbed of the constant Omen procs. So to me, it's just another day as a Druid. I hope this video cleared up what all the Feral fuss is about, and if you have any questions or you just want to let everyone know that you're not afraid of a challenge, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and as always, take care.